HaKadosh Boker Tov, Shavua Tov, Masechet Betzah Daf Yomi 12a1. Okay? 12a1. Okay? Says the Mishnah. Yeah, Bet Shammai says, Em motzin lo tekatan velo et lulav velo et sefer Torah l'reshut rabim. So you're not going to take out on Yom Tov, not the katan, right? To come and to start lamuloto, to give him a brit milah, or to start being metayelito. Velo et lulav, or not the lulav also. Velo et sefer Torah, or not the sefer Torah to read it, or not the lulav to or anything which is not l'tzorech achilah. To the reshut rabim, from reshut yachid to reshut rabim. Bet Hillel matirim, Bet Hillel permitted. So here we're talking about that we already know that anything which is l'tzorech ochel nefesh was permitted on Yom Tov, correct? Everything to do with food, right? The Jew is food oriented. Yeah, that's why yesterday somebody said in the middle of the shiur, everything else, if he only had 1 hour to live, what would he do? He would eat, right? Because for him, that's what somebody said. Yeah. So what does that mean? For him, food is life. That's everything. So tzorech ochel nefesh, it's mutar. So now what happens is, so you're on mutar to do things on Yom Tov. But what about things which are nothing to do with ochel nefesh? I'm going to take out a child on Yom Tov in order to do brit milah. I'm going to take out a child to come to go around, right, to walk around the streets over there in I don't know where he is over there, the Melech David, or I don't know where he is there. King George. Yeah, wherever he is, he's going there. Yeah. So what happens is that in such a case, so you're allowed to do that or not. So Bet Shammai says asur. Bet Hillel says it's permitted. Says the Gemara. Tani Tana Kamed Rav Yitzchak Rav Dimi. They taught, you're listening. He taught in front of the Beitzah, in front of Yitzchak Rav Dimi. And he taught like this. Hashochet olat nedava b'yom tov loket. If you're going to come, you're going to do shechita on an olat nedava on Yom Tov, you're going to get lashes. Why? Because you did a melacha on Yom Tov. Meaning that there's a negative commandment to do melacha on Yom Tov. If you came and you did shechita, but you're not going to eat the animal, so you just did a melacha. If you did shechita and you ate it, so then that's fine. But if you did shechita and you're not going to eat it, you just did a melacha. So if you did a melacha, you get lashes. Amalei, he comes and he tells them, Mani, who's the one that said this? Bet Shammai. It's Bet Shammai. The Amri Bazei said, Lo Amanina Mitosh Utra Utza Letzorech Utra Nemishlo Letzorech. Because according to Shita Bet Shammai, we do not say since the Hotza'ah was permitted Letzorech, it's also permitted Shelo Letzorech, which means like this. What was it permitted for? Are you permitted to eat? Correct? You're permitted to eat. So if I'm allowed to take out food from the Reshut Yachid to Reshut Rabim in order to eat, or I'm going to take it from my house to your house in order to eat, so I'm also allowed to take it out, even if it's not Letzorech for food. So for example, I could take out a child to do a brit milah to him. I could take out a child or whatever. I could do all these things. Right? For anything which is tzorech, for necessity. Love davka mitzvah. For sure not mitzvah. He said letayel. Letayel is not mitzvah. Yeah? So he says, right? Velo et lulav. The lulav was for mitzvah. The lulav, the Sefer Torah was to read in it. Right? But once it's hutra letzorech, it's hutra shelo letzorech. But Bet Shammai doesn't hold that. So he says, the Bet Hillel, but if it's going to be Bet Hillel, ha'amre, they already came and they said, mitosh hutra utza letzorech, hutra nami shelo letzorech. Once it was permitted letzorech, it was also permitted shelo letzorech. Right? So therefore, there's not going to be any problem. Hachanami, so to here, mitoch shutra shechita letzorech, once shechita is permitted letzorech ochel nefesh, meaning, can you do shechita on Yom Tov to eat? Yes. So now it's going to be permitted, even if you don't need to eat. So here you took an alat nedava. Remember, alat nedava, you do shechita and it goes to the mizbeach. The entire thing is consumed. Nobody eats anything. Hashem eats it. Does that mean that the mizbeach eats it? But not a human being. So he says, because of that, so once it's hutra shel letzorech, it's hutra shelo letzorech. So obviously this is only going according to Bet Shammai, not according to Bet Hillel. So matkif la Rabba comes and he asks the following question: Imay de Bet Shammai Bet Hillel ba'plige. How do you know that this is a machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel? Dilma be'eruv ve'otzah leShabbat ve'eruv ve'otzah liyom tov kamipalge. Maybe why don't we just say that there's a concept of eruv and otzah only for Shabbat, but there's no concept of eruv and otzah for Yom Tov, right? And that's a machloket, right? Which means, right now we're going to explain. Mor Savad, one of them holds, right? What exactly are we talking about? He says like this. Mor Savad, one of them holds, right? Eruv otzah leShabbat ve'eruv otzah liyom tov. Which means just like you're not allowed to do otzah on Shabbat, but you could fix it with ilchot eruvin. So too, you're not allowed to do otzah on Yom Tov, and you could fix it with eruvin. Okay, and therefore it's going to be prohibited unless it's going to be permitted. Umor savar beBeit Hillel hold eruv otzah leShabbat ve'en eruv otzah liyom tov. The isur of otzah and the fixing of eruvin only is on Shabbat, but on Yom Tov it doesn't exist. meaning there's no prohibition on Yom Tov to carry. And therefore, there's no prohibition to carry, I don't need an eruv, right? So therefore, according to this, why is Bet Hillel going to come and say that there's a difference between Shabbat and Yom Tov, right? Why? Because he's saying that, so he says, Kidechtiv is written pasuk, Velo totzi masa bevatechem biyom ha-Shabbat, v'Shabbat in, Yom Tov lo. From the fact that it says you're not allowed to take something out from your houses on Shabbat, only on Shabbat is there a problem. But on Yom Tov, there's no problem. So if there's no problem, so it comes out that the Machloka Bet Shammai Bet Hillel is not to do with only Melechet Totzah, because any Melacha which is prohibited on Yom Tov, right? It could be that everyone agrees that Utzuturas Letzorech, Utara Lo Letzorech. But here the entire concept was, right, that he's going to get lashes even according to Bet Hillel. Right? Why? Because this is Shechita. Shechita is mamash a true Melacha, not only with Totzah or the other things whatsoever. Okay? So now says the Gemara, right? Matkif la Rav Yosef. So Rav Yosef comes and he asks the following question. Ela me'ata, we're going to ask now the following. Liflegu ba'avarim. Why don't we just say that the machloka between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel is to do with stones? What does that mean? Bet Hillel permit on Yom Tov to be metaltel and mutzi from the Reshut Yechid to Reshut Rabim, even stones, which usually stones you're not allowed to do on Shabbat, even if you did have an eruv. Okay, why? Because it's going to be a suit even inside your house. This is muktzeh, right? So he comes and he says, right? And according to that's what we're trying to say here. But the fact that we didn't have a machloke between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel to do with stones, shmamina, we learn from here that the entire concept was only to do with Yom Tov. The machloke between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel was, what are you allowed to do hotza'ah shelo letzorech? Again, one more time. Lo letzorech means that you don't need it for what it's permitted for. The hotza'ah letzorech is, let's say, for food. For food, it was permitted. Hotza'ah. So now here, I don't need it. Huh? Letayel. That's afilu. That's called letzorech. It's not letzorech mitzvah. It's not letzorech mitzvah.
Everything is my tzorech.
What?
Everything I want to do is
no. That's what he's trying to say here. He's trying to say there was a tzorech. I'm taking out the child. Letayel. That is letzorech. That was written in the beginning. That's what I said in the Mishnah. The Mishnah says, "En motzin lo takta lamul oto or letayelim." But according to Bet Hillel, they said yes, okay, it's mutar. Also mutar. Halacha l'maaseh, there's no such thing as you don't need a what's it called on Yom Tov. There's no carrying on Yom Tov unless it's lo letzorech completely. If it's lo letzorech completely and there was no eruv, that's a problem. Which one? Could be a problem. Yeah.
זה לא לצורך מצווה, אז כל העניין של הלצורך.
No, לצורך למעשה. Even if it's not tzorich, I want to eat extra because I'm a glutton. Nothing to do with mitzvah. Yeah, nothing to do with mitzvah. Nothing to do with mitzvah. Even without a mitzvah. That's what we're trying to say. Okay? Now says the Gemara. Which one?
It's food.
Rabbi Yochanan Savar and also Rabbi Yochanan holds שמתוך שהותרה הוצאה לצורך, הותרה נמי לא לצורך פליגה. That also the machlok between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel is that since if it's permitted letzorech, is also permitted shelo letzorech. The Tana Kama Rabbi Yochanan, because there was somebody that taught right out in front of Yochanan, and he taught like this: Hamvashel gida nashe bechalav biyom tov v'chalo. Imagine somebody comes and he cooks a gida nashe. Now you're not allowed to eat the gida nashe, right? This is the how do you call it? The sinu? The sciatic sinu. Yeah. So he says over here, so a person comes. Now he came and he cooked it in milk. Now this is meat. This comes from meat. It's animal. So you have, right? You have an isur b'sav v'chalav. You cooked it on Yom Tov, right? Which you're not allowed to, because you're not allowed to eat it, and you ate it, right? Yeah. So what happens? 5 lashes, 5 sets of lashes, not 5 lashes, 5 sets of lashes. 5 times 39. Yeah, just the way you should understand. Yeah, 5 times 39. It says why? First of all, you cook the gid nashe, and it's written, "Kol melacha lo yisavim." You're not allowed to cook. You're not allowed to cook, and here you did cook, so you cooked. You're allowed to cook on Yom Tov. Yeah. But here it's lo letzorech. Number 2, loke mishum ochel gid. You ate the gid nashe. Number 3, you're loke because of cooking basar v'chalav. Number 4, you ate the basar v'chalav. Right? You're not allowed to cook basar v'chalav. You're not allowed to eat the basar v'chalav. You did both. Number 5, loke yud bet amubet 12b. Loke mishum havara. You went and you made a new fire. Right? Which means that the fact you made it, so that's 5 averot. 5 averot. Okay. So
make a new fire.
Yeah, you're not allowed to make a new fire on Yom Tov. You're allowed to take from one fire to another fire. You're not allowed to make a new fire. So says the Gemara, Amalei comes of Yochanan and he says, Puktani levra, throw this out. Throw this right out, meaning don't even teach it. Why? Havarau bishul in a Mishnah. First of all, that which we said here that you're going to be lokeh because of cooking the gid nashe, and because of avara, it's not a Mishnah. Why? Because you're not going to be over on the Isur because of cooking and not because of Avara. And if you're going to tell me even that it is a Mishnah, right, that means it does exist, it's Bet Shammai. The Amri, because according to Shita Bet Shammai, we don't say Mitosh Utra Tzorech, Utra Mitzor Tzorech. Hachanami lo Amrina, Mitosh Utra Avara, Tzorech, Utra Mitzorech. The Ibet, the Beziv is going to be Bet Hillel. Kevin the Amri, since they said Utra Utra Tzorech, Utra Mitzorech, Hachanami Utosh Utra Avara, Tzorech, Utra Namishlo Tzorech. So it comes out that according to him, also in Rabbi Yochanan, the Machlok between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel is also is once it was Utra Letzorech, is it going to be Utra Lo Letzorech? Here was Lo Letzorech because you weren't going to eat the given Hashem. So it's Lo Letzorech. But once it was permitted Letzorech, so you can't be over on the Yisur of cooking, even though you don't need it at all. Because once it was permitted Letzorech, it's permitted Shelo Letzorech. Mishnah Yud Bet Amubet. First Mishnah, right? The page, the Mishnah over there on the page. Bet Shammai Omri. Bet Shammai says, so imagine we have a Kohen that's just walking around, right? And what happens is that it says over here, okay, so you're not going to take, right, the chala, you're not allowed to take them chala or matanot on Yom Tov. Okay? One more time. So Bet Shammai says, you're not allowed to take to a Kohen chala or matanot on Yom Tov. Then shurmu me'emesh, whether it was already separated yesterday on Erev Yom Tov, then shurmu me'ayom, it was separated today. Which means that this, one more time. A person has chala, yeah? So they separated chala. So whether it is that they came and they separated chala from yesterday or from today, you cannot take it to the Kohen on Yom Tov. Not chala or matanot l'kuna. Bet Hillel, they say it's going to be permitted. Right? According to Bet Hillel, you're allowed to do it. Doesn't matter whether it was separated yesterday or today. Amrula and Bet Shammai, he says Bet Shammai to Bet Hillel, Gizera Shava. So what is this? You should make a Gizera Shava. What does that mean? Chala matanot, matana lekohen. What does that mean? We should learn the chala matanot, which is a matana lekohen. Utruma matana lekohen. One second. Is truma a present to the kohen? Truma. No. Truma goes to the kohen. Yeah. It's a present. We give it a present. Yeah, we give a present to the kohen. It's truma. So truma goes to the kohen. And chala matanot are also kohen. Chala is a freshat chala. Yeah, when you do chala. Yeah, goes also to the kohen. So he says, "Keshem she'en molichin et truma." Just like you're not going to take the truma on Yom Tov, right? Why? This truma, it's mifurash. It has to be dafka before Yom Tov, and therefore you're not allowed to do it on Yom Tov. So if they say just like that truma, you're not allowed to do it on Yom Tov. So too, you shouldn't take the matanot on Yom Tov. Amrula and Bet Hillel says Bet Hillel, no, it's not true. Why? Ima martem bitruma. If you said it by truma, she'eno zakai baramata, because he's not allowed to separate it on Yom Tov. Truma, you're not allowed to separate on Yom Tov. But by the matanot and the chala, you are allowed to. So what are you comparing both cases? Meaning, tiruma, you're not allowed to separate truma on Yom Tov. So if you're not allowed to separate truma on Yom Tov, don't take it to the kohen on Yom Tov. But matanot kiuna or the chala, you're allowed to separate on Yom Tov. So if you're allowed to separate on Yom Tov, you could take it to the kohen on Yom Tov. So that's what Bet Hillel answers to Bet Shammai. What are you talking about? You're making like this gzera shava. Gzera shava usually means that you're putting one word here, you apply the both. Here we're trying to say, at the end of the day, it's all presents to the kohen. So make a gzera shava, kavanah, make the same malachot apply to all the presents to the kohen. He's saying it's not true. Okay? Gemara. Kasal gadaitach, we wanted to think by saying, shurmu me'ayom v'nishchatu ayom. Right? Shurmu me'emesh v'nishchatu me'emesh. He says, we thought that we're talking about that the animal was slaughtered today, right? And the matanot were taken from yesterday, or it was slaughtered from yesterday, right? Or it was, right? Sorry. Everything was done today or everything was done yesterday. That means basically there's no difference, right? That means Bet Shammai are always prohibiting. Bet Hillel are always going to be permitted. Mani matziti. It's not Rabbi Yosef, not Rabbi Yehuda. El acherim, but it's going to be acherim. Why? The Tanya was learned in a Beitzah. Amar Rabbi Yehuda says Rabbi Yehuda. So let's pay attention. Remember, you had Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yosef, and acherim. So we're starting with Rabbi Yehuda. It says Rabbi Yehuda, lo nechleku Bet Shammai Bet Hillel. When is the machlok between Bet Shammai Bet Hillel? Ala matzona shemu v'memiyun tosh malachin. That means according to Rabbi Yehuda, Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel are not arguing in a case where if you already have matanot also today. So derech agav, the matanot that you're going to give today, you're going to give the matanot of yesterday as well. Lo nechleku ela lo lichan bifnei atzman. The only machlok is, can I take it on their own? Meaning, the ones that I did yesterday. Can I take it on their own yesterday? Because basically the question is, if you could have done it yesterday, why are you not doing it yesterday? Why are you doing it today? If you could do something at Yom Tov, what are you doing on Yom Tov? Right? You could cook at Yom Tov. What are you going to cook on Yom Tov? Do it yesterday. Understand? So he says, If that's one, Bet Shammai only, Bet Shammai says you can't take it on its own. But Hillel says you could take it on its own. וכך היו בית שמאי דנים, חלה מתנות, מתנה לכהן ותרומה מתנה לכהן. And says Bet Shammai, 1 second. Matanot, right? Chala matanot is a present to the Kohen. Truma is a matanot to the Kohen. So just like you're not allowed to take truma to the Kohen, so you're not allowed to take matanot to the Kohen. Amrula and Bet Hillel, says Bet Hillel. Right? They come and they say, what are you talking about? Lo im amartem bitruma shena zakah b'matah trumu. He says, you can't compare both cases. Why are you not going to compare both cases? Because right over here, right, by the truma, you're not going to be zakai b'ramata. But by the matanot, you are zakai b'ramata. Truma, you cannot give on Yom Tov. Matanot, you could give on Yom Tov. So this is a shita of Rabbi Yehuda. What? Yeah. The present of the matanot and chala. No, stop. No. Okay. Amar Rabbi Yosef. Now we're talking about Rabbi Yosef. Yeah, what is Rabbi Yosef? Right? Yain tamid.
No, yain אין בעיה. פרחים או...
Prachim is more of a problem. Because then there's a problem of making a kinyan, something different. But it's not a problem in the giving. It's a problem that you can't make a kinyan. So if somebody comes, so you just have in mind. I'm not requiring it until Motzei Yom Tov.
Just put it here.
Yeah. Okay. Amar Rabbi Yosef. Now we have shitat Rabbi Yosef. Lo nechleku Bet Shammai Bet Hillel lematanos shmolechim. There's no machloka between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel that you are allowed to come and bring it on Shabbat, on Yom Tov, whether it was from yesterday or today. Lo nechleku la truma. The machlok was only by truma. Shebet Shammai, when Bet Shammai says you can't take it, Bet Hillel says you can't take truma. So Bet Hillel were saying like this. They were doing chala matanot is the matana lekohen. Truma is also matana lekohen. Just like you could take matanot, so you could take the truma. We completely flip the Mishnah. Now all of a sudden, not only are you allowed to take matanot and the matanot and chala, now you're even allowed to give truma on Yom Tov, according to Bet Hillel. According to Bet Shammai, no. So Bet Shammai says, what are you talking about? How are you telling me Ima Martim matanot that you're allowed to take off the matanot on Yom Tov? How are you going to say that by truma that you're not allowed to take off the truma on Yom Tov? Acherim, the third shita. Acherim omrim, other people say, lo nechleku Bet Shammai Bet Hillel truma shemolechin. There was no machlok between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel on the truma which you cannot take. Lo nechleku ela ala matanot. The only machlok was only by matanot. The Bet Shammai says that you don't take it, and Bet Hillel says you take it. So that means our Mishnah is not like Rabbi Yehuda, right? And it's not like Rabbi Yosef. It's like Acherim. Okay, why can it not be like Rabbi Yehuda? It says here because according to him, he says Bet Shammai says you're not allowed to take even the matanot which was done today. And according to Rabbi Yehuda, they say that you're allowed to do the matanot that you're allowed to do right today. Okay? So therefore, it's not going to be like Rabbi Yosef either. So therefore, it has to be like Acherim. So says the Gemara, Lema Acherim, right, velo Rabbi Yehuda. Are you going to tell me then, just it's Acherim, like Rabbi Yehuda? So Amar Rava comes and he says, Mi katani shurmu me'ayom shnishchatu me'ayom. Where does it say that everything was done today? Shurmu katani. Shurmu katani means that what? That it was done, right? It was taken off. Ulolam shechitata me'emesh. But really, be'emet, it was done shechita yesterday. Means according to this, the shechita was done yesterday. And so it comes out that according to our Mishnah, Bet Shammai did not prohibit only the behemot which were slaughtered yesterday, even if you separated the presents today. That means the shechita was done yesterday and he separated the presents today. Okay? Well, right? Then he says, so leima, so why don't we just say it's Yehuda here, not Achirim? So says the Gemara, afilu teim achirim, even if you want to say the Achirim, uvehanach tenishchetu me'emesh. We're talking about the ones that were slaughtered yesterday. So since it was slaughtered yesterday, that according to Bet Shammai, you're not allowed to take all the matanot. Okay, so says the Gemara, Yachiv, so I know Rabbi Yehuda. So then that's like Rabbi Yehuda. So Ika benayu tefillah. The difference between Rabbi Yehuda and Achirim is going to be what? Tefillah. What does it mean, tefillah? It's basically to do with a present, which is mitzuraf, which is going to be combined, which is basically matanot of the be'emah that was done shchita erev Yom Tov, which they're going to bring it. So those ones on Yom Tov, right, are going to be coming also slaughtered, going to be on Yom Tov. So according to Shitat Rabbi Yehuda, that he permitted Bet Shammai to take the matanot, is talking about betziduf, meaning you're doing both of them together, both in one shot. Okay, you're allowed to take the ones which were from yesterday and today all in one shot. And according to Bet Shammai, they wasn't permitted. What's psak halacha? Amar Rav Yehuda Mar Shmuel, says Rav Shmuel, halacha is like Rav Yosef. That he says that the machlok between them was only to do with taking the truma b'yom tov. And according to Bet Hillel, you're allowed to take the truma. So you're allowed to take even truma on Yom Tov, and we pass in like Bet Hillel. So it means even truma you're allowed to take on Yom Tov to the Kohen, according to this psak halacha. So Rav Tuvi, bereder of Nechemia velegarba dechamra de truma. Rav Tuvi, the son of Nechemia, had a barrel, right? Or here it says it's a jug of wine of truma. Ata lekamid Rav Yosef came in front of Yosef. He says, "Ma'ulim tuika." Can I take it to the Kohen now? Amale, he says, "Zachan Rav Yehuda Meshmuel alachas." I could say, "So you're allowed to. You take it on truma to the Kohen on Yom Tov." Okay. Ushpezinche, right, which is basically the me'archo, which is balach sanya vrava bar Rav Chanan havale suriyata de chardala. So you had the chavilot of chardal. Okay. So Amalei comes and he tells him, "Ma'u leferuche umechal minayhu." Is it right now mutar lefarech et tamilei hazer and you're allowed to eat the zironim on Yom Tov? So he didn't have an answer, which means he wanted to separate the seeds of the mustard, right? In order, which is a toladav dash. So he wanted to do that, and then he wanted to eat it on Yom Tov. Is he allowed to do that or not? He didn't have an answer. So Ata lekamid Rava, he came in front of Rava. Amalei, he comes and he tells him, you're allowed to do it on Yom Tov. So Eit ve'abaye hamoleh melilot erev Shabbat. If you do this melilot on erev Shabbat, how do you translate melilot? You're doing like this with your fingers on the melilot on the.
Fan. He made fan from hand to hand.
Okay. Lemachar, the next day minapeach. Now he's doing it from hand to hand. No, but the one before the fan to hand to hand. What is the words before?
Rub it.
He's rubbing it with his fingers. Okay. Ve'ochel, and then he can eat it. Avalo beknovet chuy, but you can't use the knovet on chuy. Hamoleh milom erev Yom Tov. If you did this on erev Yom Tov, lemachar, the next day minapeach al yad yad. You're allowed to do it little by little. Okay. Ve'ochel, and you're allowed to eat it. Afilu beknom, afilu b'tumchuy. Whether you're talking about a knovet tumchuy. Avalo betavla, but not with a big plate. Right? Velo b'nafal kvara. Not with a nafal kvara. What's a nafal kvara? The nafal kvara is sieve or fine sieve, right? Two different, of course, sieves. There are different types of sieves with bigger holes or smaller holes. Okay? So he says over here, Me'erev Yom Tov, yes. Yom Tov, no. So he says, Yom Tov, even if you want to say it's Yom Tov, once we taught Erev Shabbat, Tanim also Seifa Me'erev Yom Tov. Right? But really, Be'emet, the same halacha would be on Yom Tov itself, you're allowed to use this. So on Yom Tov itself, you're allowed to use this sieve. So says the Gemara, if so, Matzinu Truma Shizakaber Matas. 1 second. That means you could give Truma on Yom Tov. Utznanim, we learned in the Mishnah. Lo imamarta mitruva shizakaber. You're not allowed to. Answers the Gemara. Lakashya, it's not a question. Harabi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda. It's a machloket Rabbi Yosef Yehuda. According to Rabbi, which according to him, right, chayavot miliyot b'truma. So therefore, that's why he's saying you're allowed to actually separate the truma. According to Rabbi Yosef Yehuda, that you're not chayav in truma, so you're not allowed to take it off on Yom Tov. And then we continue with Hashem tomorrow.